Hey everybody, Krista Makes a Podcast producer Chris Fafalius here to set up this week's Throwback Thursday episode. This week's episode is from just over 2 years ago when Matt Skiba sat in for the second time to discuss the writing and recording of Alkaline Trio's fan favorite single, Time to Waste. So the song is the first track out of 13 on the album Crimson, which was released on Vagrant Records on May 24th of 2005. So before we hop into the episode, I wanted to give you all a reminder of what was going on in the world around that time. So if you turned on the radio at this time, you may have heard Gwen Stefani's Holla Back Girl, Sierra and Ludacris' Oh, We Belong Together from Mariah Carey, Kelly Clarkson's Since You've Been Gone, Mr. Brightside from The Killers, Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Collide from Howie Day, or Candy Shop from 50 Cent. If you were going to the movies, you might be going to see Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which was by far the biggest grossing film at the box office. If you aren't a Star Wars person, maybe you were going to see Madagascar, or Monster-in-Law, or The Longest Yard, or Kingdom of Heaven, or Crash, or maybe even the Amityville Horror, which I don't know which one that is because I was just made aware recently that there are like an infinite amount of Amityville Horror movies because you can't copyright the Amityville town name or something like that. American Idol was the top TV show around this time, but also popular were Desperate Housewives, Grey's Anatomy, Without a Trace, House, Survivor, Lost, and Law & Order SVU. It's also worth mentioning that when Alkaline Trio released Crimson, we were still about 6 months or so away from the launch of YouTube. Okay, hope I got you in the right state of mind for when this song was released. Before we hop into the episode, let me take a quick second to remind you that KristaMakes.com is where you can go to sign up for our Patreon, where you'll get early ad-free episode releases each week, bonus episodes of our other weekly podcast called The After Party, access to a giant library of past episodes of The After Party, unedited video versions of Krista Makes a Podcast episodes, and lots more. Plus, it helps us continue making this show. So if you sign up for our Patreon, you're directly allowing us to continue. You can even sign up for a whole year at one time, so it's not like a monthly thing. It's whatever you want. For a few bucks a month, you can help us keep making episodes like the one you're about to hear. KristaMakes.com. That's KristaMakes.com. You can even sign up for a free account to see if it's something you'd be into. Okay, let's get to it. From June 3rd, 2024, this is episode 209 of Krista Makes a Podcast. Matt Skiba discusses Alkaline Trio's Time to Waste.
Hey everybody, today's guest is Matt Skiba, lead vocalist and guitarist for the Chicago, Illinois punk rock band Alkaline Trio. Together, we comb through and discuss the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the fan favorite single, Time to Waste, taken from their 2005 album, Crimson. This is the second time Matt's been in the hot seat, and it was a pleasure as always. Time to Waste is my favorite Alkaline Trio song. Yeah, it's an awesome tune, and you've heard me say it time and time again here on Krista Makes a Podcast. But I have some really solid and beautiful memories attached to this song. A song that Matt said took a lot of work from everybody in the band and producer Jerry Finn. This wasn't written in 5 minutes. This took a while to figure out. The piano hook is haunting and instantly grabs you from the moment you hear it. And Matt's lyrics are so on point here. His imagery and words are so good and brutally honest. So for all this, a box of sharp objects, and LSD trips as a teenager, stick around.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista Makes a Podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista Makes a Podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista Makes a Podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista Makes a Podcast.
Matt, you're a repeat offender. You've been here before. What's up?
Thanks for having me back, Chris. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I am so proud of you. You were arguably in one of the biggest punk rock bands, out touring with Blink. You get off the road, you write this new record that you have out, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
And you just keep the Alkaline Trio train running. Congrats, man. It's inspiring.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Chris. And I was thinking about it. I mean, I think about it all the time, but especially since we were planning this caper, the first big tour we ever did was with you guys. And we've played all over the world since, but I have a very deep, special place in my heart. I'm not even trying to be funny. You guys really helped us tremendously get our start, so I appreciate it greatly. And to all the touring we've done since then has been unforgettable. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see you as always.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I already know that. Thank you. You've always been an absolute dear friend, and one of the cruelest things, Matt, to me as I get older is the passage of time. And the song I'm going to talk about today, "Time to Waste," this song came out in 2005, and this was a later Alkaline Trio song for me at that point. This was like later Alkaline Trio. It wasn't the early stuff, God damn it, and things. Almost 20 years have passed since then, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack. Of course, we had you on before talking about radio, but the listeners are going to be like, why didn't you pick this song?
Sure.
Okay, because you have so many great songs. But I talk about memories a lot on this show. And when we have memories attached to songs, it takes it to the next level. It hits you at a cellular, molecular level. It hits you inside in a way that 20 years from now, you'll be somewhere, you hear that song, and it'll take you right back. You can smell the building you were in. It takes you right back. This is kind of one of those songs for me. I had went through a divorce early 2000s, and I was just kind of trying to figure out life again. And this song, this record spoke to me. Crimson's awesome record. I ended up seeing you guys on this run at Janus Landing down in St. Petersburg. I remember coming out that night. And I remember being in the back. It was so packed. And you're from the stage saying, "This is Chris from Less Than Jake's favorite song. Where is he?" And I couldn't get to the stage.
Oh.
You probably don't remember that, but I do. But
I remember the show, and oddly enough, I remember us talking about it and playing it for you. But obviously, I didn't know you were in the rear with the gear, or the opposite at the front of the house, and not. But I don't remember that. But I remember that show, and I remember dedicating the song to you.
I was with a bunch of friends. This one woman I used to know, she was such a big fan of yours, and she's just like, they're calling you. Yeah, I was that guy. But "Time to Waste," this song is awesome. And, rehearing it, it's been a second since I listened to it. And I did the old car test. I cranked it up last night. And it's massive. The production is so good. Jerry Finn, of course, rest in peace. Jerry did this record, but take me back. This is track 1 out of 13 on the record. Take me back to writing "Time to Waste."
Let's see. Well, with Jerry, we did a couple records with Jerry. In fact, I have one of the few pictures. Did you ever work with Jerry?
No, unfortunately, we never had the opportunity.
I have a picture of me and Jerry and his wife at my wedding, interestingly enough, and we'll get into that because it is relevant to the song. But so with Finn, we would Gosh, it really has been over 20 years, hasn't it?
Well, it has. And let me just stop you there real quick before you continue, Matt. You know, on the Crimson, I believe it's like a deluxe reissue, there's a demo of this song. And I went and listened to the demo. Wow, it was a pretty advanced demo. It sounded like a kind of a drum machine loop intro, but it does sound like real drums after that. And we'll get into that. I'll break it down very briefly in a little bit. But it sounds like you guys had the nucleus of the song before you went to record it.
Yeah, and so Jerry, we would send demos to each other. I'm trying to think, so I lived, when we wrote that song, I was living in the Bay Area at the time. That was 2004, did you say?
The record came out in 2005, so yeah, this would have been probably 2004 you were writing it.
Yeah, we would have been sending demos to each other and to Jerry, and gosh, I'll have to listen to the demo again, because there were a couple different demos of that song, of all the songs, I think. There were the initial demos, where it was probably just me and an acoustic guitar that may or may not have been sent to Finn. Sorry, I'm trying to remember, but I'm doing it out loud.
I love it. No, it's perfect because I actually saw there was an acoustic version of this on the deluxe. Maybe that was your initial acoustic demo, but this demo kind of sounds like a working demo where maybe you kept Derek's drums on this because it sounds like a pretty darn good drum take, but your vocals different. A couple lyrics here are missed, but for the most part, the songs there, the arrangement's a little bit different than what you ended up with.
That would have been the demo that we sent Finn. That as we were writing, he was involved with the writing process. But once we started, he would just kind of chime in and say, "I really like this song. I really like that song, and I really dislike this song." "Time to Waste" was one of his favorites early on, I remember. So the demo, if it has drums and everything on it, Derek would have been mostly responsible for that, because at that time, both Derek and Dan were really getting into recording and buying gear, and we were demoing them so that we had all the bits and bobs and everything ready to go for the studio, as you usually do, or as we used to usually do, I should say. But so we demoed that song and had it pretty much written by the time we got into the studio, as a part of like pre-production with Jerry, then pre-production with Jerry. So the song itself, like a lot of our songs, and I don't know how you do it, but it usually starts with the guitar on a couch, somewhere, whether it's on a tour bus or in your living room or whatever the case may be. Somebody thinks of at least the impetus or the humble beginnings of the song somewhere. Usually for me, it's on a couch. But I remember, I don't know how far you want me to get into it, I at least right now. But yeah, there were definitely, that song took a while to formulate because we realized it was possibly an album opener, and the song had potential, so we spent extra time with it.
That's awesome to hear. You felt like there was something there. And there's times when I felt like there was something there with the song and you just run it till the 11th hour and nothing happens with it. Sometimes it doesn't even make the record, but in this case, it sounds like you knew you had something or felt you had something and you really worked towards building it. We hear a lot on this show that, the biggest hit of a band's career, it happened in 5 minutes. It just came out. It just came out. And other times it needs to be worked on. It seems like you guys put a little bit of extra care to this one.
Yeah, more than, and the whole record, like the Crimson record, I don't know if it was because we had, for whatever reason, we really decided to make this like orchestral thing. Like we definitely wanted to, we had the ability to use all this new technology and all these new instruments and whatever. We used, there's a lot going on that record.
Oh yeah.
But that song particularly, and I think it was Jerry Finn who pointed it out. So, I mean, we had everyone that was involved with it, like our pianist, Roger Manning, Jr. did that. And it's funny, pianists have tried to play that, and they're like, I can't figure out how it's like there's two piano parts being played at once.
Yes,
because
it's not his left hand going over his right hand playing all of a sudden.
No, and you'd be surprised. I've heard some people come close, but it is him doing two separate parts. But it was really fun to do, I feel like, and it came out the way it was supposed to, but we were doing everything we possibly could. Like, we could do that, let's put that in there. We could do that, let's put that in there.
That's interesting you say that, because this record is filled with a ton of layers, orchestral parts. I mean, this is really where you branched out. And in fact, going back, Matt, I thought this was your first major label record, which Vagrant was about as big as you're going to get back then. But I thought this was the Epic record, which that wasn't until the album after this. But right. Just the production on this, and of course, you just mentioned Roger Joseph Manning Jr. He's a Krista Makes a Podcast alumni. He plays in Jellyfish. We had him on the show. Amazing. And, as I was researching the episode, I noticed a live, you guys played live on Conan O'Brien.
Oh yeah, with Andrew.
Yeah, you had an actual keyboardist sitting in. I want to say, when I watched you guys play this live, I want to say, didn't Derek maybe play it or start it, or did he hit a sequencer or something?
Sequencer, yeah. So we tried to do. We've had a few different like trials and failures. Like Andrew did a great job. He was just nervous, and he's like playing the impossible on one keyboard. I don't know what we weren't thinking. Like it wasn't his fault at all. It was like, but there was just an immense amount of pressure on him. And we tried a couple different times to do it live, and we're like, fuck it, just to use the sequencer and play. Because the thing, it'll give everybody a break, but that's what we've been doing for the last however long, it's 20 something years.
And I got to ask about the keyboard part. Was that done after the fact, or was that the riff? Did somebody write that keyboard part, or did that come after the song was created?
That came after the song was created.
Okay.
Yeah.
The part is haunting. The only other song I can think of, and they're not this isn't a rip-off of that song by any means, but it reminds me a little bit of In the End by Linkin Park. You know, it has that kind of vibe to it.
Oh, sure.
It hooks you in, whether you like piano or not. I don't care if you're a death metal guy. When you hear this, and there's something almost Halloween about this part.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say it's very John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So, like, I was going to say, if you are a metal guy, you might like it because John Carpenter did the music. If I'm not mistaken, John Carpenter came up with literally the Halloween movie theme music, and of course, like The Exorcist theme music is on a piano. So yeah, that was definitely an intentional kind of like the piano. It's an insane part. I mean, it's a beautiful part that he wrote and played parts, but very much influenced by the horror, the piano horror kind of genre thing.
Yeah. Well, and if I were to look up the term, if there was a picture to go along with the term tickling the ivory, it would be this part, especially when he goes up to the high keys. It's just there's kind of like an elegance about it. It's like, wait, this is going on a punk rock record? What's happening here? But
I like the way it's definitely a little more elegant and not that there is an elegance to those horror themes, but yeah, it definitely is a little more orchestral or tickling the ivories, as you said.
Well, we're going to jump into this, Matt. It's 4 minutes and 11 seconds. And the song's 4 minutes, 11 seconds because we have a 54-second intro. And it better be good if it's 54 seconds.
54 seconds, damn.
Yeah, before we get into the verse. And I got to tell you, I wrote here, it better be good. And it is. This part is awesome. The first 8 bars, which is this intro is 28 bars of music total. The first 8 bars of the main piano riff that it goes through by itself. On bar 9 through 16, piano is joined by another higher part that you're referencing. So yeah, you got the one piano going. Now this is an overdub. I love how that builds. It's so cool. On bar 17, the bass guitar comes in and it's giving the song its pulse. It's got that eye of the tiger. It just kind of trill that's going on to it. And the tone is absolutely monstrous. I love it. The stereo guitars are ringing out, and there's a hi-hat shuffle thing keeping things moving for 4 bars. And then the last 8 bars are an all-out sonic assault. The piano continues along with the bass, drums, and stereo guitars in octaves. I got to ask, is one of the octave guitars following the lower guitar chords and the other one is accenting the piano higher? I think I'm hearing 2 octaves there.
I'm pretty sure. Like I said, there's so many layers on that thing. And I'm proud of the record. So yes, there is octaves following all those little nooks and crannies all up and down the scale.
I want to talk about those octaves real quick because Alkaline Trio, you guys have always used octaves to me as a form of suspense. going back to like Private Eye, Stupid Kid, like your early stuff. And when I say suspense, a lot of times the octaves are just, they're kind of buried back. Now yours are like loud. It's like, this is the part. It's a featured part. Whenever I've done octaves, running them over a bridge or a chorus or something, they're kind of back here. But the way you're using them, the 2-octave thing and playing different parts, one's following the chords and one's accenting the piano part, I think it's awesome. It's so cool.
Well, thanks. My use of the octaves is because I'm trying to get away from, we're talking about this record, but at the time, I didn't have any other choice.
Uh-huh.
Like, for the longest time, and I still catch myself doing it, playing the guitar like it's a snare drum because I grew up a drummer and never had any real formal guitar training. So like the octaves were just, that's what, it was like power chords and octaves. Those were my two choices for the longest time. And they seem to work. I mean, especially with like a 3-piece, one of the things we always had, and maybe this is a part of the reason we have so much going on that album, is like 3-piece syndrome or something, because there's only one guitar player. It was like always a concern. Does it sound big enough? Does it sound full enough? Does that kind of thing. So using octaves and using all those power chords, and really, I mean, when I'm proud of everything we've done, but there's times where the guitars need to breathe and live, and it's just the whole time. That it was it intentional? Yes, but were there other options? No.
Well, yeah, and I think to your point, what you just said, I think that if it's no, it's ear fatigue at some point. You're not giving peaks and valleys to the listener. And again, I'm not a big fan overall of octaves. I think they're great when they're used well.
Sure.
In a one guitar band, what you're doing, I think the way that you use them and the note choices and the way you play them, I think it's perfect. Overall, because I've seen bands overdo it, especially with one guitar. It's like, okay, we get it, you play octaves, but in this case, I think it's just part of your sound.
There's someone down below blowing you a kiss. They watch from their windows as all arms fall to their sides and all eyes fix on the death of tomorrow.
There's someone down below blowing you a kiss. They watch from their windows as all arms fall to their sides and all eyes fix on the death of tomorrow.
Yes. The song is about something specific, obviously. So, but this first line, there's someone down below blowing you a kiss. It's kind of like having an angel and a devil on each of your shoulders. Okay. And the devil is whispering into your ear. That's the someone down below talking to you, telling you that this is a good idea. And the neighbors are watching you as you start committing this quote unquote good idea from the devil that will be the death of everybody. It has an apocalyptic, basically by the bad choices we make. There's a line in a Jawbreaker song: if you can't be the life of the party, you'll be the death of everyone. Mm-hmm. And that kind of sentiment, I wasn't even thinking of it at the time when I wrote it, but it's, when we were talking about this song and I was thinking about, the lyrics and where they came from, I was like, man, that what I intended from it isn't dissimilar from that Jawbreaker line. I'll only speak for myself, but being like a waste case for so long, and hopefully having learned from it, it's like you're having a great time, but you're destroying everything around you, including friendships, or maybe somebody wanted to sleep with you that night. That's gone. Or literal furniture, or whatever it is. And I was never really one into like smashing things or throwing TVs out of windows, but I definitely made a mess for a long time. So that's kind of in reference to that, mostly of myself.
I love the imagery in your lyrics, and I probably asked you this before. I don't recall. This lyric, for instance, is this in a Matt Skiba journal? Do you just keep books over to the side filled with lyrics and you reference them later, or was this written specifically for the song?
Most of this stuff I do keep journals. I don't do it as often as I should. On the tour we just did, I kept a journal and wrote it in every day.
Good for you.
And not necessarily anything specific, just writing to write, just to exercise that part. Some of it was about what happened that day or what I was seeing while I wrote it. Sometimes it was just creative or stream of consciousness, but just writing. I don't know if you feel the same way, but just writing feels good. So, as long as you don't have other things weighing on you, just a blank piece of paper and a nice pen is like heaven for me. So I keep I keep journals. I actually was straightening my place, and I have a bag of like a book bag filled with these lyric books. I found Time to Waste lyrics.
Oh, wow.
That some of it was mined from just like a journal writing, but the main body of the main song lyrics were written specifically for this, to answer your question.
Okay, awesome. Well, the drums in this verse, it's a killer groove, and the hi-hat work is just what Derek's doing on the hi-hat is so cool.
Derek's a sicko.
The bass is pulsing along here, as I mentioned from the top. It's just it's kind of, to me, the heartbeat of this song, and the stereo guitars are ringing out, accenting the back half of the second part of the lyrics with big chord changes, and the vocal delay treatment here is killer. It's very new wave. I mean, you've wore your influences on your sleeve. I can, just the way this vocal is, it sounds like something, I don't know, Duran Duran 80s vocal treatment or something. It's absolutely awesome. On line 2, they watch from their windows. On Watch from Their Windows, we get the first harmony in the song. It's a low harmony panned off right. It's very haunting, very cool. And I got to ask, there is some good treatment on the vocal here, and it makes it a little hard. I know the chorus, I can hear your vocals are doubled. Do you recall if the verse is doubled?
Jerry was a fan of doubling almost everything. I don't remember if we used it though. We would double a lot of stuff and then maybe end up not using it, or he would pan things. What he actually did on the vocal, I can't. It feels like there's doubles on everything. I mean, I'm really proud of that, of the record and of the song, but it's so much different than the way like we just did our new record. We tried to do the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. So it all kind of sounds like doubles and triples, and a lot of the harmonies. I remember back then, I also really struggled with harmonies. So there's a good chance that is Dan or Derek.
Tomorrow when you found everything you need to make a life complete, completely revolting, and may have safety and relief to sail up the street. I see you in line every day.
And you found everything you need to make a life complete, completely revolting, and they have safety and relief for sail up the street. I see you in line every day.
Over the years, it's morphed into you'll see me in line every day. But it's the same sentiment. I'll be there. I'll be the one in line at the proverbial methadone clinic or the pharmacy or the bar or whatever it is that you're using for your escape vehicle. So at the time, like I had just started getting, I never like broke bones or really hurt myself. I grew up playing soccer. I grew up, sorry to the Brits, footy and skateboarding. So, but I was, an active kid, but never really got hurt until I got older. And around this time is when I got my first knee surgery. And that's where I found this stuff called Vicodin. And got, almost immediate. I mean, I remember the first time I took it for, post-op, and just thinking, like, I want to feel like this all the time.
Oh.
And so that is a reference to what became a fairly vicious pill addiction. Finding everything you need to make your life completely revolting is finding your drug of choice and it grabbing you by the throat and dragging you with it rather than the other way around, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, it does make sense. It's heavy, and thanks for sharing that. I mean, I knew you always liked to party, as a lot of our friends do on the road, but I had no idea that, it had gotten that bad for you.
And even back then it hadn't gotten as bad as it did, but I knew I was in trouble. And I, if nothing else, maybe I knew I had an inkling of what it's like to, because I'd partied, but I can party or not party. I never had like a physical addiction to alcohol. I never had a physical addiction to anything else that like I was never addicted to anything. Cigarettes, kind of same thing. I could take or leave. But I started to have an understanding of what it's like to be truly physically addicted to something.
Wow.
So that's in reference to that.
Hey, everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more with Matt Skiba coming right up after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/demakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/demakes.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of ShopPay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases. Unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online. And a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business. You'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
The internet gives us a glimpse into the crazy happening all around us. Unhinged behavior, personal secrets, unbelievable coincidences. It's all one big circus, and the RR Show is your front row seat. Each week, we curate the wildest Reddit stories just for you. Whether you're into hilarious accidents, insane relationship drama, or pure chaos, these insane confessions are sure to make your jaw drop. Listen to The RR Show weekly on Mondays via your favorite podcast platform, or get your episodes early and ad-free by becoming a member. The RR Show. All of the drama, none of the hassle.
Hey friends, have you been loving Krista Makes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
I can't go on wishing this one wasn't something I can't hide. Like a wheel.
And now back to the show.
Well, the back half of verse 1, the stereo guitars get a bit more playful here, and I love the back and forth between the chords and the single note phrasing you have. The guitars sound so tough here.
Revolting, they have safety and relief to sail up the street. I see you.
Do you recall that happening? Was it all chords? Did Jerry suggest, hey, maybe go, because it just sounds so good?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The other thing too and I'm sure you know this from knowing Derek for so long, but Derek is as good of a guitar player as he is a drummer. I mean,
Yes.
The guy is a shredding musician, and I've never been precious about. Obviously, we don't want to do anything that I can't play live, but there's definitely been times where maybe there's this. I mean, Derek made a lot of suggestions. Dan is an amazing player and made a lot of suggestions.
So maybe one of them played it.
One of them might have played it, yes.
Cool. And thanks for sharing that. My listeners know this. There's times when I just can't play a part clean. And I'll go, hey, Raj, you do it. And Roger will just pick up the guitar and he can play it. And it's happened with other things. He'll be playing a guitar part and for whatever reason. I can just fret it better and play it better. So that makes total sense.
Versus let's spend 3 hours while Ding Dong tries to figure it out. Like, just play it, dude. Like, I'm not precious about it. And when Chris asks me about it 20 years later, I'll tell him the truth.
There's an old interview with Gene Simmons, and he talks about how he went in. He walked in with his lunch into a studio. It was like 12 noon. They had a session player in there, and he just shook his head at the producer. It's like in the 70s. He goes, I sound great. Took a bite of a sandwich and walked out.
Holy crap.
Yeah, he was fine with it. So it sounds like Matt Skiba's fine with it too. Something cool here on this second half. The harmony on Completely Revolting. It's buried compared to the first harmony. It's still panned off left, but it's not as audible. It's like maybe half the volume. And that happens again in verse 2 on the second harmony. Any idea? Do you recall that? Usually they're like, they might be pretty close in volume, and other times it's the performance. Maybe you didn't sing it as hard or something, but it happens both times here in verse 1 and verse 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Derek, and I'm sorry, Dan, if you listen to this and I'm wrong, but Derek and I have a similar timbre. Is that the right word? Our voice. And Derek can kind of sound, and especially back then, it was like he would come up with parts that Dan and I mutually or respectively, Derek could sound like Dan, or he could sound like me, or kind of sound like him. I mean, he could really kind of morph into just being that kind of neutral, whether it's a harmony or any sort of or any sort of backup. I would say with Jerry Finn, everything was intentional, as far as like the mix is concerned. I think that, and back then, certainly, especially if it was harmonies, doubles, I would do octaves of my own voice. I would do the simple stuff, but the harmony there, I would almost put money on it was Derek. It also may just be honestly, Chris, I can't remember if it was a delivery or if it was a mix thing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a mix thing. And Jerry, for the record, he did mix the whole album.
Yes.
Mix this track. Yeah, okay. I thought so. Chorus 1 comes right off of verse 1. And I love that the chorus goes for one whole bar before the vocals kick in. And until I started doing this show, I never realized you could sing before the downbeat of the chorus hits, you could sing on the downbeat, or you can sing after it. And I'm not a real big fan of after it. A lot of times it doesn't grab me. This is perfect. There's something about waiting that one bar before you come in and say you had time to waste. I love it. It is absolutely killer. The lead vocal is definitely doubled here. It sounds awesome. The vocal harmonies are nice and loud. Drums, bass, and stereo guitars are all here, strumming huge chords. And the only other thing, we got a shaker, pretty loud, panned off left. I know these studio guys like Finn, they know everybody. Okay, the Louis Contis and all these guys that can come in and play percussion. But when you got someone as good as Derek, or Adam Willard and some of these guys who's playing with you now. Did Derek play the percussion here? Or did you have someone come in? Do you remember?
Derek would play a lot of the percussion. I don't think we had anybody else come in and do percussion, obviously. I think the keys were the only thing we outsourced, if memory serves. Yeah, Derek is an incredible percussionist. He would also come up with the ideas for where these songs, a lot of times the songs would have these, anytime there's like a half step or some kind of oddity to the tune, a lot of the times that was Derek's doing.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, percussion wise, I'm 99.9% sure it was Derek who did all that.
Okay, well, the old adage of don't bore us, get to the chorus doesn't really apply here because we got a 54-second intro. So it's a minute and 24 seconds. We're into chorus. Obnoxious. We're into chorus one. But I will say, without the intro, it's only 30 seconds, and we're in chorus one here. You had time to waste, and I'm not sorry. Such a basket case. Hide the cutlery. I had time to kill. It's dead and buried. You've got guts to spill, but no one trustworthy. Matt, until 2 days ago, I had no idea that you said hide the cutlery.
Yes.
That kills me. It kills me because if I wrote that lyric down, I could hear my guys freaking out from behind the glass like, what? This is such a Skiba lyric. It is so good.
Well, thank you. It's also kind of based in truth. When I was in high school, me and my buddies started fucking around with this stuff called LSD. And I was always, I mean, I never got deep into it. Some of my friends took a lot more than I did and somehow turned everybody's fine. But I had seen this show about a kid that had, I don't know if it was acid, but he'd taken some kind of drugs and went to sleep. And in the middle, his defense was he was sleepwalking and killed his family.
Oh.
This is something that actually happened. And I saw it as a young kid, and I always had this horrible, because my family, I'm close with both of my sisters, both my parents are awesome. But we started monkeying around with acid, and I had all these art supplies in my bed. I've never told anyone this, I don't think. But I had like X-Acto knives and scissors and all this sharp shit in my bedroom. And I had like a thing that you could close and lock. And I would take all the sharp objects in my room when I was high on acid and lock them in this box so that I didn't sleepwalk and kill my family. Like, this is when I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
So such a basket case, hide the cutlery is something that I think I locked up the cutlery like maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, but that's the true story.
Well, for a 13 or 14-year-old on acid, it sounds like you had at least some forethought of how the evening was going to go.
Yeah, it's like, shit's been awesome. I don't want to kill my family, so let's lock up the X-Acto knives. But I always thought it really was more in reference to that. It was like when America's Most Wanted, maybe it's still on, but it was like one of those kind of like true crime shows. And this this teenage kid, like, axed his family. I don't know whatever became of it. I don't remember his name, but it was supposedly a true story. And so it was more about him than I was like, I'm pretty sure I'd never like kill my family, but just to make sure that one kid in Pennsylvania or whatever it was did it. And so, yeah, that line and that whole kind of like stanza or whatever is sort of in reference to drugs or to alcohol or to whatever. It wasn't even necessarily specifically about me, just about one who loses control. And, like the hide the cutlery thing, I don't know how I made the connection, but, somebody destroying their lives for nothing. It's like kind of where the whole idea of the song came from, like this time to kill and have it being something that, you hurt someone, you kill somebody, you're going away forever because of it kind of thing. And, applying that to just everyday decisions like opening a beer or taking a tab of acid or taking some pills or whatever the case may be. Any sort of self-medication that does not end well.
Gotcha. Well, we get harmonies on And I'm Not Sorry, Hide the Cutlery, and on It's Dead and Buried. Like I said, those harmonies are nice and loud. They're killer. And then coming out of chorus 1, we get a 4-bar variation of the intro. Same feel, but this part is basically the outro of the song, okay? But this is the first time we hear it. Except here, there are octaves guitar on the second and third bars. On bar 4, we get those sinister single guitar notes and a great drum fill to lead us into verse 2.
Lies behind those dead eyes and watch you while you sleep every night.
These creatures are waking up in these dark trees. They're waiting like vultures, and eyes roll back, turn white in time to feed. They salivate in hunger for you and everything they need to make a death complete, completely unnatural, and salvation lies behind those dead eyes that watch you while you sleep every night. And man, listen, I've known you for 25 or plus years, and I'm not just saying this. I love your lyrics, man. I have lyric envy, and that's one of the big things with your fans. You've heard it hundreds of millions of times, thousands of times, is your lyrics. They're captivating. And what's going on in verse 2 here? It's awesome.
So yeah, verse 2 is kind of like what we talked about in verse 1, but outside sources, like feeling like, like people can't wait to watch. It's like what they call schadenfreude, laughing at others' misfortune. We don't have an English word for it. So yeah, the second verse is like, the decision to whether conscious or unconsciously destroy one's life. The second verse has to do with people watching you do it and laughing. And getting amusement out of your self-destruction.
Those people that want to drag you down at whatever expense.
Sure. Or watch from their perch because you're distracting away from their own mistakes or misfortune.
Interesting. Well, we get the same overall instrumentation as verse 1, but barely audible is an arpeggiated synth running through all of verse 2. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's this little but I mean, it's hardly audible. And second verse, and I've talked about this a lot in the show, Matt, when you say, I don't want you to turn it up where I can hear it. I just want to be able to feel it. Yep. Okay. And we
always say that. you really, like, I say that all the time. I want to feel it, not hear it. And when we were making, and it's something that, as a kind of a percussion, it's a keyboard, but the arpeggiation, if that's a word, is intended to work obviously as like a more of a rhythm thing, the breaks in it to carry it along. but that, that feel it, and rather than hear it, it's like, it's quiet enough that it almost becomes subliminal. Like there are things on our, and I don't want to jump ahead, but on the new record that are loud and clear to me, that either my bandmates or somebody else listening to it's like, I'm like, in that part where this comes in, they're like, what comes in? There's nothing there. I'm like, it's there. But if you put on headphones and listen closely, you can hear it. But it's something that it is felt more than heard. And it usually, at least in this particular song, it's obviously like pop structure where it's samey. So we're introducing something to help keep move it along. And it feels different, but you're not certain why. I mean, how loud is it to you when you listen to it?
It's not. It again, when I was a younger musician, I didn't know I don't want to hear it. I want to feel it. Like, what are they talking about? I totally get that. I totally get that concept now. With this part, I kept going, why does this feel different? What is going on? And finally, I had to crank my volume so hard. So now the drums and the guitars and your vocal are coming at me at 120 dB, but all I'm listening for is that synth part that is in there. But man, it is so cool. It's there, but it is buried. I love where it sits in the mix. It's very neat.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's and I can't remember whose idea that was. I mean, arpeggiated keyboard sounds like something that I would suggest. But there was also, I mean, I have to think about that record. It was a collective effort, but the more technical or studio-y the thing is, you definitely you have Finn to thank, or Derek and Dan too.
Yeah, who knows? You got a great caliber of talent there. The second line, they're waiting like vultures. We get a harmony on Waiting Like Vultures. Super loud again. But the second harmony, completely unnatural. It's not as loud. And things like that, they interest me. They're fascinating. I'm like, why? What's in the mixer's brain? Mixing fascinates me because I'm not a good mixer. I can put a song together, but these guys, it's, as you know, it's next level. Yeah, I've had guys say to me, what's so special about the Rob Cavallos and the Jerry Finns and these guys? It's like, you can't even begin to explain it to somebody. Yeah. It's like, I didn't put in the hours that they did. They have a certain craft about them that's just absolutely amazing. Verse 2 goes right into chorus 2, same overall instrumentation as chorus 1, and the same vocal placements as well. Same harmonies are here, and then we get into a 16-bar bridge. You had time to waste, and I'm not sorry. Such a basket case, hide that cutlery. Not a departure. When I strip this back, take the keyboard part out of it, there's not a lot to this song. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really about the vocals. I mean, everything's just kind of back here. The bridge comes in and it's not really a departure because it's the same hook. Why would you go anywhere else when you got this piano hook? The high and low piano hook are in on the first 4 bars alone by itself, followed by a full band. I call it a full band outburst, Matt. It's a little temper tantrum on bar 5 that happens on bar 9 and continuing through the bridge. Those big stereo octave guitars come in. The bass guitar is hitting on the 1, the outbursts. The third time around, the band is in. And a dark new chord, that D sharp comes in. I think that might have been what you're talking about with Derek. He's like,
that's the Derek. Yeah, I'm like, I know it happened somewhere in this song. That would have been a signature Derek.
Yeah, and then you want to talk about it? Just This part is weird. To me, it has that horror movie quality. It is dark, the piano, but at the same time, it's kind of uplifting, if that makes any sense. It's got hope to it. I don't know if that's the right word.
I think that's the idea, and hopefully the when you're writing about dark subject matter, it's like it's one thing to write something that is dark and brooding, but it's also things like, who wants to listen to something that, it's like movies, something good has to happen, like somebody has to survive, there has to be some message of hope in the thing, otherwise it's no fun. There's no reason to, unless you're just into just hopelessness, which I don't think anyone is. There has to be some hope, and that hope comes out in, I guess that piano. You're talking about the piano part, right? I'm rambling, but
no. Here at the very end, it's when it goes to that D sharp. So the third time around, so it's when the riff's happening, it just changes chords that one time, and I love stuff like that, especially.
So that you're talking about that chord, that little half step is the hope.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
I don't know if you can hear my acoustic, but it's, and then you go, yeah, and man, again, when you listen to songs for a long time, it's like when you, as a kid, you listen to whatever your parents were listening to, the Beatles, and you sat down to actually try to understand it or learn it, and I've listened to this song a ton, and I never realized that D sharp right there. I love it. At the same time that chord happens, Matt, panned off to the right, there's a single low staccato piano note, just a single note, ding, 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 ding on the beat. Are you aware of that?
I do know I am aware of the single staccato note. Yes,
it's pretty buried, but you can hear it. Unlike that other synth part we were discussing earlier, I love it. It's cool. It's super simple. It's just one note that's just kind of pushing this part along so that we can hit chorus 3, which again, same overall instrumentation and vocal placements as the other choruses. And we come right out of chorus 3 into a 4-bar outro, like the reintro after chorus 1, but this time we get the octave guitars on the 3rd and 4th time, not the 2 and 3 like we get it in the other intro. And then the band stops abruptly after 4 bars and the song's over.
You had time to waste, and I'm not sorry. Such a basket case, like the cutlery. I had time to kill, it's dead and buried. You've got guts to spill, but no one's trustworthy.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, hindsight's 2020, whatever. This song to me was the definitive song at that point of your career. And I still think that way. I think this is one of the best Alkaline Trio songs. And I have to ask you, when you go out on your most recent tour, you just got home about 2 weeks ago, what's the reaction to this song now that 20 years has passed?
It's amazing. It's actually at least on this last run, it was the last song on the set. So, and it's a song, it's like we play, you were talking about earlier how bands, we might define hits differently the way than other bands define hits, but our fan favorite Radio that we always end up playing last because that's the way it's always been. That was an afterthought. We need another song for this record. We can't have whatever it was, 11 song. We needed a 12 song or an 11th song. So it was something that we wrote in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just kind of shat out. And that becomes the biggest thing, going back to what you said earlier. But yeah, playing Time to Waste live, it's a really fun song to play live. And the crowd reaction is amazing. I mean, how people love it so much. It's so simple, but people dig it.
I had seen you 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there where you didn't play the song. And I didn't see you. I was watching you from the crowd at Riot Fest or something. Okay. I don't even think I ran into you backstage that day, but I remember watching going, where's Time to Waste? Okay. For whatever reason, you didn't play it that day, but I'm glad that it's made it back into the set. I'll tell you again, your new record is fantastic. I'm glad that you guys are just, we're still here, man. You're still doing your thing. I think that I can speak for your band, like my band, for whatever reason, we're bigger than we've ever been. The fans just keep showing up, and
yeah, it's amazing. And all the, I'm sure that with you guys too, all the little guys, all the little Groms at the show, sometimes it's their first show, sometimes it's their fifth Less Than Jake show, depending on how old they are or whatever. It's just I'm so grateful to all of our fans, but the fans bringing their families into it, and the kids are genuinely psyched to be there. It's not like they're getting dragged to church or whatever it is. They want to be there. They're wearing the shirt and everything. And it's amazing. I'm glad to hear the same is happening for you guys. I can't wait for Europe together. It's going to be great.
I know. I can't wait either. And speaking of, what else is going on with Alkaline Trio? What do you got coming up before we break here?
Oh, what do we have coming up? Next is Europe with you guys and Descendants. Yeah. So I got a couple months. We've been busy with the record, so we've got a little break now. I'm thankful to say. Perfect.
Well, I can't wait to see you this summer, and thank you so much for sitting in again. I love you, man. You know that.
I love you too, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
Thought to call me up that one time, thought that I heard gunfire. I stepped outside, left a message saying hi. I answered from a firefight. Told you it's a bad time, but I can talk. I really want to talk to you. I'm being stalked by killer robots, and I'm pretty sure they're bulletproof. It's a bad time.
Hey everybody, the song you're hearing under me is Bad Time from Alkaline Trio's new album, Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs. I'm sure I don't have to tell a lot of you listening right now how good this album is, but if you haven't checked it out yet, go do that. It's amazing. And don't go anywhere. We got lots more Krista Makes a Podcast coming right up after a few words from our sponsors.
Have you ever wondered why songs on the radio are popular? Why do certain movies get made, even though the premise seems completely random? Why are concert tickets costing you $3,000, but nobody makes any money touring? Well, on my podcast, Breaking Down the Biz, we answer all those questions and more. I'm Seth Schackner. I have over 2 decades of experience in the entertainment and the music industry, and every week I talk to insiders that lend insight and expertise on the media you know and love, past, present, and future. Subscribe now on your favorite podcasting platform or watch us on YouTube so you never miss a beat. Let's make sense of this industry together.
Streaks on the china never mattered before. Who cared when you drop?
That's Belvedere. Lynn Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere ran for over 100 episodes on ABC from 1985 through 1989, and on the new podcast Belvedere Bros, we're watching them all. Starring the late, great Christopher Hewitt as Lynn Aloysius Belvedere, the show had just as much heart as it did laughs. Every Friday on the One Hit Thunder feed, we're diving into another episode of Mr. Belvedere, sharing our thoughts on the episode and relating the lessons we take away to our own lives. Go subscribe to One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods so you never miss an episode of Belvedere Bros.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Krista Makes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's feature artist is Mean Mistreater, a heavy rock band from Austin, Texas. Their press release had me, and inspired by bands such as Chastain, Warlock, and Wasp. That was all I needed to hear. Their debut album, Razor Wire, is out now, and here's a snippet of that title track, Razor Wire.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
Chris, I think our listeners are going to be excited that Matt Skiba is finally back. It's been a long time. He was here in our first year, and you've become quite the song deconstructor over the course of these 4 years. So I'm glad we could have Matt back. Not that you were good back then, but I feel like you've gotten better. I thought this was really fun episode. You know what he said that I really liked? And I think it should be like an Alkaline, maybe not an Alkaline Trio lyric. Maybe it's not dark enough. I loved when he said, a blank piece of paper and a nice pen is like heaven to me. I thought that was so nice.
Yes, I did. Do remember him reciting that in the episode. He's just, Matt's great. He's, I hope his troubles are far behind him. He alluded to it. He's just one of those troubled soul lyricists. He writes these just dark lyrics, but with these poppy overtones of music. And as I said to him, his fans, that's one of the first things they say about Alkaline Trio songs is his lyrics. I love the imagery, and I said to him, and I tried to say this as nice as I could. It didn't want to make him feel like I thought it's a stupid lyric. It's not at all. I don't think I could sing Cutlery and make it believable.
Yeah. And the story behind that, man, that was an incredible story. I told you, I'm always thinking of like what little clips I'm going to cut out and like make reels and TikToks of. I'm like 36 minutes in. I got this Cutlery story. This is great. Yeah. And like you said, that's what a lot of people come to Alkaline Trio for, the lyrics. I don't think that's all they come for. If the music wasn't good, they're not going to just like the lyrics. But I do think that's a big part of it. The dark imagery. This song is no exception to the dark imagery. And I may have said this last time, but it's so funny that Matt is known for these dark lyrics, and he may seem intimidating or something, but he's so nice. He's such a nice guy.
He's the nicest guy ever. And, there's just, I would never say this to him. I wouldn't, want to make him feel weird or anything, but, there's star quality that certain people have. And Matt's one of those. From the very first time I met him, it was just Skiba, 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 people whispering, talking like he's got this presence. He has this thing. And lyrically, like I said, I have lyric envy. He's one of my favorite lyricists. I love the imagery that he paints.
Yeah, there were some other things he said I thought were pretty interesting. One of those things being that power chords and octaves were his two choices for the longest time. And he basically alluded to the fact that it was because he was pretty limited. He was a drummer earlier, and he kind of knew what he knew on guitar. I couldn't tell, or I didn't know. I thought that was just a choice that he made. But I think it's really interesting when you have some sort of limitation and you turn it into a strength. The way that Alkaline Trio uses the octaves in their songs, it's part of their signature sound. And when he said that, I was like, oh, I didn't even know. I thought maybe it was just a choice not to like shred on the guitar or something,
No, I think that's very cool. And he's admitted he's a drummer first and everything kind of comes later. I also thought it was cool that he talked about, the drummer of this record, Derek Grant, hey, pick up the guitar if you can play it better. I'm not precious about that. I think that's very cool because, early on it was hard for me to discern, okay, live is live and making a record is making a record. And that's the way you have to approach it. And it sounds like, he was just completely forthcoming with that. The other thing I thought was cool was basically at a lot of points, he was just like, man, I just don't remember. I don't know. I probably should have listened to this. I probably should have referenced it. And this is just as fun for me to be able to think after, well, maybe the guest or the artist, maybe they went back and listened to their song. I've kind of, inspired them to go back and listen to something. I'm glad they don't all go back. And one last thing I want to say, Chris, about what I'm talking about is we're pretty lucky here on the show if you think about it. And I thought about that when he was talking. Just at how most of the artists can remember. Yeah. They will tell you, oh yeah, that was this. And we're going back 15, 20, sometimes 25, 30 years. So it's remarkable.
I do think it's amazing how much people do remember because I don't remember a lot of stuff. So I'm always like really impressed at how well, you're going back 20 years here. We've had dudes on here 30 years, 40 years ago, and they're remembering little things. And also, I think we've been really lucky, Chris, not with Skiba today because he had been on here before, but I always hold my breath when you first start reading the lyrics to the guest because I'm like, are they ready for this? Are they ready for some guy to be reading them their lyrics to them? And luckily, no one's ever gotten too weirded out by that. And on top of that, I'm always impressed at how much
people open up about what the lyrics are about. I mean, obviously Matt did that today. There were a few things where I was like, wow, I'm sure that it's really going to resonate with a lot of people, some of the things he said, because, things that he's gone through, I don't think are unique to him. I think a lot of people have experienced those same sort of things and can take away, an extra layer of appreciation for an episode like this. So I thought this was awesome.
It was. And I got memories attached to this song. How many times we talked about that? That's really what it is. I mean, do they have better songs pound for pound? Maybe. I love this song. It'll always be my number one Alkaline Trio song. I absolutely love it. And Chris, I want to tell the listeners right now, we are so stoked to tell you that our supporting cast, we have more members now than we've ever had. Thank you so much for continuing to support us. Head over to KristaMakes.com if you'd like bonus episodes of the After Party, where Chris and I will come at you once a week with other cool stuff. KristaMakes.com. Head over there and be part of the After Party.
Yeah. Hey, that supporting cast, that helps us continue making incredible, I like to assume they're incredible. I think they're incredible episodes of Krista Makes a Podcast. Your $5 or $10 per month, depending on which package you choose, helps us continue. It keeps the lights on over here, and it allows us to keep doing this. So thank you to everyone who's a member. And if you're thinking about doing it, hey, you're helping us continue making this show. So for even a little small part of your life, consider buying Chris and I a beer once a month. That's the equivalent, buying us 1 or 2 beers per month.
That's right. There's nothing better than word of mouth. Tell a friend about the show today if they haven't heard about the show and they like music. Maybe they will like it too. Thank you so much for listening and supporting us. And give me a follow on Instagram at LessThanChrisD, and give Chris a follow at Chris Fafalius. And if you haven't already, please join our Krista Makes a Podcast Facebook page and give us a follow on the Krista Makes a Podcast Instagram page. Want to thank this week's guest, a repeat offender, Matt Skiba, for sitting in with us, and we'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, Satan here. I know what you're thinking. Jesus Christ, Satan has a podcast now too? No, that's not it. But I am here to tell you about a podcast, and it's one that's all about my favorite band, Punchline. Not the band you expected me to say, right? You probably figured I'd like Slayer, or maybe some backwards Beatles records or something. Those are okay, but you usually find me rocking out to fan-favorite Punchline albums like Action or Lion, while I'm torturing dead people for all of eternity. Punchline's podcast is called A Band Called Punchline, and it's super entertaining to listen to this documentary-style look back at the 25 years of my favorite band. Honestly, I'm really feeling like I'm getting to know these guys, and their story is amazing. I'm so ready for them to get down here. I have so many questions. I gotta give them credit for catching on to my whole 37 thing, too. There's a reason why they're my favorite band, and if you listen to their podcast, they might become yours, too. A Band Called Punchline is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Check it out, and I'll see you all in hell.
Hey friends, Krista Makes here. If you love Krista Makes a Podcast and you'd like to help us continue bringing you great episodes each week, please take a minute to check out KristaMakes.com. That's where you'll find our Patreon. Our Patreon supporters get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus episode that people have raved to us about for years. You can also get ad-free, early releases of each week's episode of Krista Makes a Podcast, as well as unedited video versions of the show. Even if you're not sure if you want to sign up, you can go to KristaMakes.com and sign up for a free account. We'll throw you a free preview episode here and there. We can't thank you enough for all the support. And if you have a few extra bucks and you want to help us keep the lights on, our Patreon is the way to do it. Head to KristaMakes.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Alex Goldman. You may know me as the host of Reply All, but I'm done with that. I'm doing something else now. I've started a new podcast called Hyperfixed. On every episode of Hyperfixed, listeners write in with their problems, and I try to solve them. Some massive and life-altering, and some so minuscule it'll boggle your mind. No matter the problem, no matter the size, I'm here for you. That's Hyperfixed, the new podcast from Radiotopia. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts or at hyperfixedpod.com.
The internet gives us a glimpse into the crazy happening all around us. Unhinged behavior, personal secrets, unbelievable coincidences. It's all one big circus, and the RR Show is your front row seat. Each week, we curate the wildest Reddit stories just for you. Like how her future husband is definitely too close to his mother, or how a guy got revenge on his awful boss by making him lose a major client, or how a wakeboarding mishap sent a blast of water up where the sun doesn't shine. Whether you're into hilarious accidents, insane relationship drama, or pure chaos, these insane confessions are sure to make your jaw drop. Don't miss out on the stories everyone is talking about. Listen to the RR Show weekly on Mondays via your favorite podcast platform, or get your episodes early and ad-free by becoming a member. The RR Show. All of the drama, none of the hassle.